this is the next session. I am planning to complete uh, the undermount support or the plinth. So starting my day with sharpening all my chisels. 4 or 5 chisels I had to sharpen. Barely took me like 10 minutes I believe. So this is I use diamond plates based on Paul Seller's sharpening station. I also make sure I sharpen the marking knife. So it's super quick. Barely takes. It takes less than a minute actually. Then finally using the strop for that super fine sharpness. For pressure, approximately 30 to 40 strokes. I'm laying out my dovetails, in fact like the rebates, just like I did on the first piece. So I will be using slightly different technique here, the learning from the first session to improve my accuracy. So right now it's all the same, working on the rebate. So I use the saw here to cut the cross, but I'm not using the saw again to cut the cheek. So I'm directly going for the chisel, especially when I have a sharp chisel. Just trying different techniques. This is super fun. So using the palm instead of the hammer, as it is more sensitive, but I still like with a sharp chisel this should be give very accurate result and good feedback. If the chisel is not sharp, this technique is not going to work that well. Finalizing the rebate with my router plane. There, my rebate is ready. Laying out the dovetail angles. Cutting the dovetails. Now chopping out the centerpiece. In and out of the vise for safety. Just finger pressure or the hand pressure is more than enough. Finally, the end pieces can be just sawn off. Paring down that to my knife line. Now this is the new technique. I mean, the last time I was finding it hard to find my knife marks on the end grain. So this is another technique that I learned from Paul Seller. So masking tape or a blue tape, anything works. So I mark the same way using my knife. I don't even have to go too deep right now. So So I just peel off the pieces and I will get a crisp marking. Now sawing away from quite away from those knife marks, because eventually I have to come with the chisel. Half lap dovetail is like almost always finished with the chisel. In fact, always like finalized with using the chisel. Just the nature of that joint. So this is I used a slight variant. Instead of going in and out of the vise, I just chopped the thing on the bench. This is sometimes more efficient, especially when the piece is large, so it's slightly more stable. We can also clamp this on the bench for additional stability, but this just worked fine for me. Now I just slowly creeped up to my knife mark, which is in this case the blue tape. The sharp chisel does make it so much easier. So this I felt this particular dovetail was much better, like quicker for me and more accurate. Perfect, like it did fit for me in the first attempt. Really, very happy with this joint. Now I just need to remove the tape. Very crisp joint. I don't mind the dovetail slightly proud of the surface. Now this is one more technique learned from Paul. So I'm preparing for the glue up. So I've taken a small, like a thin nail, chopped off its head, so that I can use it as a drill driver, like drill bit. So I will use this to drill a thin section of wood. In fact, a couple of pieces of wood I'm just using on both sides. We'll come back to that, how I intend to use that. So this is my glue up, gluing up both the surfaces. Not required for strength, but gluing up both surfaces are not necessarily required for strength, but it just helps seat the joints, lubricates the joint, and helps seat it like quickly, because the glue does cause the wood to swell, and so this does help. Wipe off the excess glue. Now here I am measuring, like remember there is no fourth side, so there is a good chance that it won't be at right angle, so I have to make sure that they are at right angles. So I was pretty close, actually, to be frank. So I was off there, so I thought, like, let me put the clamps first and see, like, whether that made any improvement. So if I remember correctly, like that did improve, but I was still off by a bit. So this is where that initial jig that prepared. So I'm just nailing on one side, and then I will use a clamp to adjust each each of those side pieces to be 90 degree, and then just put the pin on the other end. So that's the whole point. So without that, without drilling with the initial pre-drilling, that piece of wood probably would have split. So yeah. Now I could remove the clamp here. Um, I intend to do the same thing on the other side also. Just double checking here. Uh, this was fine. The other side, if I remember correctly, was like already fine, so I didn't need to take care of that. So okay, just leaving it all for a few hours for it to dry, and then so see you again in the next session. Thanks everyone.